No offense, LLC. The LLC stand for business. Yeah. It's no offense. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Seem to be getting a little bit of a technical delay, but everything should be I fixed it. All right, guys. Here we go. Thank you. No offense, LLC. The LLC stand for business. Yeah. It's no offense, yeah, we going in. Who we got on the show today? Might as well go tag a couple friends. They said you couldn't, now you know you about to blow again. They working hard in case you really need to know again. We're trying to get to know it then. Gave support from those that view and wanna see you win. We got the website, magazine, and radio. Be back up soon. Trying to put you in the spotlight so that you can tell your truth. Yeah, it's no offense to you and me. Ain't trying to sell no image. I want you to come on through and live your life the way you live it. What you say you on your way? Shine so bright they gotta see you. Pave your way and go be great. Make us say now, non-believers. Hey, it's no offense. Yeah, we going in. Who we got on the show today? Might as well go tag a couple friends. They said you couldn't, now you know you about to glow again. They working hard in case you really need to know again. Hey, it's no offense, yeah, it's no offense, yeah, it's no offense, yeah, it's no offense. They said you couldn't, now you know you about to blow again. They working hard in case you really need to know again. Hey, it's no offense. Man, y'all hit that share button, man. Tap in. Special thank you to the guests of the show. All right, guys. All right, guys. I appreciate you for your patience. It's your guy, I'm Matt Arrington, also known as Mr. No Offense to Some, and we're here today for another episode of the No Offense podcast. In case you guys have missed it, by some kind of way, we've got a very special guest today. We have the one and only Miss Tyra Huntley Whitney in the house, Whitney in the house. So she's gonna she's agreed to give us a little bit of her time to be able to give her an interview today. As always, guys, we're gonna ask you to go ahead and hit the share button. Please, please don't be a stranger to the comment section. And if you have any kind of questions that you would like to ask, please go ahead and put them in the comment section if we have time. And if it's appropriate, we'll try to get you an answer. Again, please go ahead and hit the share button. It's absolutely free. And it's okay to tell a friend. Now is the place to be. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on the guest of the show tonight, Miss Tyra Huntley Whitney. You guys, again, give her your respect. Let's go ahead and do this thing. All right.
How you doing, Matt?
Hey, how you doing, Miss Whitney? Thank you so much again for agreeing to give us a little bit of your time today to have this interview today. I really, really appreciate the opportunity. Shout out to Miss Daphne Minks for making this available.
Yes, that's my girl. Yes.
Yes, man.
And thank
Yes.
you for having me on, Matt. Thank
Hey,
you.
it is. Hey, the honor is again. Thank you. It's mine. Because again, at the end of the day, it's not every day that we get an opportunity to talk to someone with such an amazing story as yours. So we're definitely going to again try to make the most of your time. I always say that every good story that I've ever heard always has to start from the very beginning. If we're gonna understand how everything went, so if it's okay with you, are you ready to go ahead and kick this interview off?
Sure, I can. Well, like you stated, my name is Tyra Huntley Whitney. Um, I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. San Francisco is my second home after Hurricane Katrina. I moved to Texas in 2009, trying to get closer to down south, coming down south. Still had family in Louisiana, so that's basically what I was trying to do. So go ahead, ask away, Matt.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, I was actually gonna let you tell us a little bit more. Okay, so you said after Katrina, which I mean was definitely a monumental, powerful hurricane that really affected the area.
Yes,
Um,
it did.
you said you found so you found yourself in San Francisco. If you don't mind me asking, like, why exactly San Francisco? I mean, obviously we've got this great big United States. What exactly led you to the West Coast?
Well, San Francisco, that's my dad's second home, had been his home for many, many years. And after Katrina, I wound up in what's called Mamou, Louisiana. And
Okay.
I'm from Louisiana and had never even heard about Mamou, but it's in between Opelousas and Lake Charles. So just to give yes, it's in between Opelousas and Lake Charles. Beautiful little place. Everybody knows everybody. However, got to San Francisco, and
Mhm.
it was kind of hard at first because it's two different, regions. So it's like it's different out there, and I guess that's any place that you may transition to.
Right.
But all in all, I met good people. I had family out there, so it was all great, man. So 2009, let me give you a little synopsis of that.
Okay.
2009, I decided to move to Texas because it was extremely expensive out there.
Mm.
So I came to Texas and it was a means of getting closer, like I said, to Louisiana.
Right.
So Tashara, youngest daughter, Dana, she had a little hole in her heart. So she had the little surgery because once they make one, if it hadn't closed or anything, they had to get surgery. So she had surgery and she was unable to travel. So Tashara stayed out and she came down south a couple of months after. She
Okay.
came down a couple of months after. So she met this guy. And like I told you, out of respect, I won't mention names, out of respect of the family and the deceased.
Right.
Um, she met this guy and he seemed pretty nice, well mannered and everything. And, you know, I didn't know behind the scenes after a stint of them being together that he was abusing her,
Oh no.
so yeah, he was abusing her. So I mean, I took it afterwards like most teenagers, because she was a teenager at the time. You
Hmm.
know, most teenagers when they leave home, you don't want mom or your dad to know what's going on because hey, you're trying to be grown, or
Right.
you at that point where you're trying to find your way. So
Right.
it was Tashara's little apartment. She fixed it up. She paid her own rent and everything. So it was her place. I didn't know she had moved this guy in. Well,
Oh, okay.
huh?
Okay, so he came to stay with her in
Yeah,
her own.
yeah,
Okay, gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha. Okay, I
That
follow.
was that was that was her place. And
Okay,
her and her kids. That's who was on the lease. Her and her kids were on the lease.
gotcha.
Well, he moved in and I just let her just be grown. I was upset about it, but I mean, it was her place.
Right,
So then most of my kids' friends look at me as an aunt, or some didn't have moms, so they'll look at me in that light. You know what I'm saying?
yes, sir.
So one of her friends came over to fix my hair, and she just was having this conversation, and she was like, Tyra, she said, "Man, can I tell you something?" And I'm like, "What?" Now, mind you, I'm not thinking stuff like abuse and all this here, right? So
Right,
I said, "Sure you can." She said, "But don't tell Tashara." So my mind is winding, but abuse was not on the radar. So she said, so and so is beating Tashara, whatever the case may be. Well, look, now I'm going over to her house and I'm calling in the middle of the night, and my baby's like, Mama, what you calling for? The call ID she can see is me, and I'm making up excuses like I dialed the wrong number, but I know she knew better. But I was trying to find any kind of excuse because I need to really know on the cool, hey, my child's okay, and that's for any of my children, you
right.
know. Um, yeah, that was for any of them. But how it started was she called one day. We were in the pool. This is in October, and Jante, that's my other daughter.
Hmm.
We was just getting out the pool and everything, and I'm ready to, just chill. Tashara called and she called the house phone, but Jante picked it up, and she was like, "Mama, Tashara and so is into it again," and I'm like, "What?" She said they're into it. I said, "Look, tell her dial 911
Right.
and get off. I used some profanity, so I don't want to use that
Right.
here. And
Right.
so the phone, when you don't hang up the phone, it has a ring back, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
phone rung back and she's screaming. She's like, Mama, he don't want to leave, blah, blah. I say, hang up the phone, dial 911, and I'm on my such and such way,
Right.
you
Right.
know.
Right. Right.
So yeah, so just keeping it real. So um by the time we had gotten there,
Mm.
the everything was just thrown out the apartment. I mean, furniture, you got pictures and stuff. When I entered, I pulled up on the banquet. And so when I saw the mess, I had the little ones with me because
Right.
I have two sets of kids. I had the little ones and I also had my grandkids with me, her kids, to Tyshell and Dana. That's my babies, really. But
Mm.
anyway, um when I saw such, this disarray, I mean everything all over, I'm like, say, take them back to the van, take them back. So my daughter Jante, she took them back to the van, and I'm going inside, but my heart is pounding because I'm calling her name. We call her Muffin for short. That's the Muffin. Her dad gave her that name. Long story short, so I'm like, Muffin, I'm going up the step. Yes, I'm like, Muffin, nobody's answer. Well, the way the apartments are made, you go up the steps and you enter the living room. Well,
Mm-hmm.
when you get to the top of the steps, it has like a wall with a window. Very cute apartment, but it has this big hole like a body has gone through this wall, and it has
Oh.
like yeah, and it has dry blood and stuff. So I'm really hollering for my baby, like I said, Tashara Muffin. Nobody, she's not answering. So when I enter the living room area, she's standing in the kitchen, basically with the broom and stuff, and she's trying to clean up. She didn't, I guess, didn't want it to look as bad as it was. That's what I gathered from there. And so I'm looking at her, and she got this blood that's coming down the front of her head, and I'm shaking and I'm mad. I am so furious. So I'm like, I say, baby, and I'm wiping her hand. I'm like, is this how you want to live? Because
Right.
let me tell you something. They daddy didn't touch them. So for a man to even touch my girls, it was like, what?
Right.
No, no. Well, now I didn't know he was there at the time because the police was called out. Tashara even had restraining orders, police. But the thing of it is this, and I want to let people who's listening to this know: if you are in an abusive relationship, whether it's female or male, domestic violence is a crime. Bottom line, is nothing to it. And I'm getting teary up because let me tell you something. It's a crime,
Yeah.
and you have these gaslighters or whatever you want to call them, manipulators and stuff. They want to come with the gifts and all that after they know they have messed up. But I'm gonna let you know, once they do it, it's no, oh, I'm a change and this and that and the other. It will always continue to be that pattern. So get out when you can. So back to what I was saying. So I'm talking to Tashara, and like I said, I'm livid, so I'm using all type of language. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, you really want to live like this? I said, your daddy didn't even touch y'all. I'm saying this is yours. So at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you don't have to answer to nobody, not even me, even though mom's coming to check on you anyway. But you don't even have to answer to me because she was paying her own bills, you know? So I'm telling her all these different things. And I guess I didn't know he was in the room. Mind you, the kitchen is right before her bathroom. I mean, right before her room. And then it's the
Uh-huh.
bathroom. Well, he's in the room. Mind you, again, I didn't know he was there. So I'm like, and this so and so and so, man, I'm going off and I'm talking about him. So
Yeah.
the next thing you know, Pop goes the weasel. He comes out the bedroom and he's standing in the kitchen. So he's telling me all these things, and I'm going back with him because you see, you got the wrong lady here.
Right.
Wrong lady.
Will
Yes.
not be
Oh
intimidated.
God, you
Okay.
do. So Tashara has all these chemicals and you fabulosos, bleach, all types of stuff where this child is really trying to clean up. The
Mm-hmm.
the the range. She had a nice little apartment, first apartment. The range. You have the microwave at the top, nice.
Mm-hmm.
The done broke the people stove, the glass on the stove. I mean, just a straight mess, you know. And you can have a partner that's envious of you. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they're not bringing nothing to the table, and that goes both ways. So I'm not just speaking on, you know, the respect of just women, because
Right.
domestic violence comes in all types of ways. I mean, it comes in categories.
Right.
So that's something else people need to know. Domestic violence is not, you can trafficking. You know, you can
Mm.
be with somebody you feel is your partner, and they're trafficking you, you know, selling you off and all this kind of stuff. So just do a little research on it. I'm talking to the people out there, because it goes far, and men get abused too. So let
Mhm.
me just put that out there. But anyway, so he's in the kitchen area, and he's just talking all this smack. And so Tashara, she has gotten in between, like trying to shield him from coming, because he's coming out the room and pulling off his shirt.
Like
Well,
he's trying to get aggressive.
I'm glad you said it, because you see, in court, they wanted to make it seem like, oh, I committed this crime because he was taking off his shirt. Hell no. I committed a crime because this man was coming at me taking off his shirt. And see, where I'm from, and I've
That's a sign
lived
of
both
aggression.
sides.
Mhm.
I've lived both sides. I was the little girl that went to Catholic school. I'm sugar and spice, but I can be hood and nothing nice. You understand?
Amen.
So, with that being said, Matt, you know, he's trying to come at me. So Tashara's in the middle. I told her, I said, move out the way. Just
Mhm.
move, because I'm not you. You
You're
know,
not scared.
and
You're
I
not
didn't
gonna
mean that to be,
tolerate this.
yeah, I'm already mad. My baby head is bleeding. And I didn't find out till afterwards that he had hit her in her head with a DVD player. You know what I'm
Whoa,
saying?
whoa,
So
whoa, 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 wait a minute. What? Stop,
yes,
stop, stop.
yes,
So
yes.
just so I understand and so we understand. So you when you arrive, it sounds like it's almost a crime scene. There's blood. There's obviously signs of a physical struggle that is obviously have taken place. And as much as your daughter is trying to clean this up so it doesn't look as bad as it actually is, it's still so extensive that there's no denying that there has been a physical altercation. And you can see this physically when you walk inside the
Yes,
person.
it has. Yes,
Okay.
it has.
And then
I
from
mean,
there,
and then let me tell you something. And then I'm pissed. My baby standing up with blood coming, and I'm like, Tashari, is this really how you want to live? You know what I'm saying?
that's gotta hurt
I
as a
mean,
mother.
sweet, my baby's sweet, you know, and it's like she's a fighter, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But it's like, hey, come on, dude. Now you got the wrong mom and the wrong children, wrong
Right.
child. You know, I don't know about nobody else, because see, people can judge or want to
Mhm.
judge, and they want to say what they will or will not do. But like Daphne magazine, it said, would you really, would you kill for your children? And let me tell you this, I didn't set out to murder anybody. I didn't.
Right.
So for anybody that brags on anything like that, it's nothing to brag on, you know. But it was a situation where my child was in danger, and myself. So
Seems
to
like you were
to
your
to go
mother protecting her child, making sure her
straight
child was
mama
gonna come
bear.
up. Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
Mama Teasy. I'm straight Mama Bear. Matter of fact, don't mess with no children, because I bar none about kids. But mine,
Right.
come on now. I don't know who child you used to beating on or was beaten on, but that was not the case. But you know what? When just to let you know, because I'll be starting my own podcast, I want to get to the root of what causes people to want to become batterers to their person. You
Right.
know, I mean, yeah, I just want to know, because that's not love. That's
No,
in no form that's love. You know what I'm saying, Matt? So I
right.
mean, let's just keep it real. But to get back to the story,
Yes,
um,
ma'am.
yeah, so he's standing there, he's going off, and Tashara, I say, move out the way. Now, mind you, I told you, when you walk in this house and they have pictures, you
Mhm.
know, if you go to Daphne Mink's Daily's The Rails magazine,
Mhm.
say it tells it all. And I also have a documentary with Discovery ID, but she has the pictures, everything, Matt, you know, and I got to say. there are still good people in the world, because her and her husband didn't know me from Adam and Eve and did that time with me. You understand what I'm saying? And I appreciate it. I
They are great
appreciate it.
people.
You know what I'm saying? I'm being real with you. But anyway, they have um they have the living room look like Sanford Arms. Have you ever watched Sanford and Son?
Yes, ma'am.
So her little apartment, like I said, it was real cute. We running from the Salvation Armies or the Goodwills to the Targets or the Walmarts or whatever, just to make it homey, comfortable,
Right.
and that's what it was. And
Her corner of
yeah,
peace. Nowhere
so
where she should
so
have had to run and protect. That would have been the one place in the world where she shouldn't have to worry about anything because that
in
was
her
her
home.
corner. Like I understand.
But let me tell you about the good police. So
Mhm.
I didn't find out afterwards that the police came out and left. They ran after him, mind you. They ran. It's all in my transcript. They
Mhm.
ran after him, and instead of calling for backup, we have a perpetrator, a perp in pursuit. Look, say somebody need to get out and do this. They didn't even bring my baby. They didn't bring my daughter to a safe haven. You could have brought it to my house. Why would you bring her back to the apartment where all the stuff happened, allowing him to potentially come back? Because most of the time they will come back, because like I stated, and listening to stories, and it's like they come back because they know they done messed up to an extent. So
Yeah,
they bearing gifts, money, or whatever they feel like can draw you in. And to people who want to judge and say, "Oh, that woman is stupid. She done went back." Half the time, y'all don't know their story.
at
Y'all don't know
all.
their story. Y'all don't know that they may be fearful. Y'all don't know that they may have been threatened or whatever the case may be. You know, and it's serious. It's really serious. However, so he's coming to warn me. Let me get back.
Okay.
So, because I'll venture off some, because I can go anyway. Um,
Hey,
he's
no, we
coming
definitely
toward
appreciate.
me, Matt. Huh?
No, no, I said I definitely appreciate. So at this point, if I can, Ms. Tyra, so
Sure.
you're saying that, um, so the even before this night, there has already been reports of domestic violence, restraining orders against this individual.
Yes.
There's a
Yes.
history that this isn't a first time that this is occurring. This isn't like a crime of passion as far as with him. Like maybe things just got too heated. And I'm not trying to give anybody an excuse because I like you firmly believe that if a person loves you, they're not gonna put their hands on you because
Exactly.
this reflection of them. You know what I'm saying? A person wouldn't hurt themselves, so and if they love you as they love themselves, then they wouldn't hurt them. So they, what I'm saying. So that's not love.
Right.
So, and by no means should anyone stay to be anyone's punching bag. That's not
And
love.
that's
You know what I'm saying?
and again, that's both sex. That go for the women and the men.
Yes, ma'am.
Both sex. But let me tell y'all something about our good um police and the people that are supposed to protect us. Most times stuff is hidden, thrown under the rug. It depends on how they feel that day or what have you. Because like I stated, all the things you just named, she had them. But let me tell you something, people. One thing that messed it up, she didn't press charges. You know, and I could get it to an extent, you know what I'm saying? Because you may feel deeper for this person than they feel for
Right.
you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the case. This is just my opinion on it. But
Like you feel like they're
um
misunderstood. Like the
they
person
they
might
they
feel like
really
the other person's
misunderstood. And
misunderstood.
then it comes sometimes people just want stuff to work. It does
Right.
not matter how toxic it may be or what have you. You just want stuff to work because you want that fairy tale, let's do this here, let's try to thrive together. And sometimes the other person is not on that level.
Right.
So when you start seeing these red flags and stuff, say get the running.
Okay.
Get the running. Hasta la vista. Get going. So, with that being said, so he's talking smack because he hear that I'm telling my daughter, you don't have to live like this. My
Right.
children, my children barely got whippings. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And like the oldest two, their dad didn't even play that. I mean, he would actually go off on people if they even like was a certain way with them. So again, for a man to just be beating on a knob, her mama
Right.
here. Yeah.
Right.
So he's coming my way. So, like I said, they have all these chemicals and stuff out. Fabulosa's bleach. Well, she has this cup that was on the counter. I'm not knowing what's in it, but I'm trying to stop him in his tracks. So I took and threw the cup with whatever was in it with the solution in it in
Mhm.
his face. Some
And
even
all,
got on my daughter. However, I didn't realize until it hit the floor, you can smell it's bleach and it's the
oh,
ceramic tile. So you know if any chemicals or anything hits that ceramic tile, you could slip. You know what I'm
right.
saying? You can slip. So that's what happened. We both slipped. Now, mind you, they got all kind of stuff around on this floor.
Yeah.
You have the toolbox with everything thrown out. You got the sofa turned over. The people's Venetian blinds are broken. I mean, it just was a hot mess, man.
And
And
it's a struggle. You don't know what
yeah,
he's trying to do to
so,
you, but you know he means you harm.
but
So I
wait a
get you.
minute. Oh, I'm about to tell you. So, with that being said, I'm just letting you all get the visual, of what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
So he started to come up. Now, in my head, I'm like, you're not about to hit me. So I grabbed the first thing that I saw. You know what I'm saying? Which it
Mhm.
was a hammer. It could have been a bat. It could have been a stiletto. Whatever it
Right.
was, I was gonna keep you off me, and that's
Right.
what that is. So yeah, that's basically what happened. And I went to the hospital. My pressure was so high that they actually wanted to keep me.
Yeah.
But somebody called, I forget who it was. I think it was my brother, my other daughter, Jante, called. Somebody called. Um, and they were like, the investigators are looking for you. So I told them, I said, well, I'm at the hospital. They could come up here. I'm not running or anything. I
Mhm.
wasn't. And I had opportunity, if that was the case, to run. I mean, I was on bond. I made
Right.
bond. My children made my bond. Jonte and Tashar made my bond. After I went through I stayed in there about 100 and something days, almost at 100 and something days, and my bond was lowered 3 times. So with that being said, and I had the worst judge in Texas,
Mhm.
Sharon Wilson. But let me show you how good God is, though. I had a court-appointed attorney, right? The
Uh-huh.
man, William S. Harris, off of 7th Street in Fort Worth, he wound up taking my case pro bono. And when I say the man worked and fought for me like I was paying him, I'm just keeping it law,
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he really did. And he wanted to take it all the way. Now, mind you, um, in court, they're bringing up stuff like when I was I'm 56. I'll be 56 in September. They bringing up charges from New Orleans, like when I was before I even had kids and stuff. Go to the
Trying to pin
club.
you, trying to pin
Well,
you
yeah, trying to
like
make
you're
me
a
look a
malicious
certain way.
person.
But see, yes, but what's for me, it's for me.
Right.
So they wind up giving me 15, but I think I skipped something because you asked the question, you said about the paperwork they had. So let me put this out here. If you're in those type of domestic disputes and stuff like that, it's always good to have a paper trail because see what messed it up and stuff, she would not press charges. So they
Mhm.
showed the lineup, the times that they came out and stuff like that, and it was never any charges pressed. So Louisiana, if you do that, hey, y'all both going to jail after a while. They're not
Right.
they're not putting up with that. But Texas did not have anything to protect people from domestic violence abuse. All this stuff started coming about, like the clemencies and trafficking is also, like I stated, a form of abuse, domestic violence abuse. I mean, it's all in the paperwork because I did a little studying in the library.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, Matt, that's pretty much it. I mean, they gave me 15, which was, at first it was like, are you serious?
Right.
With all this you have, are you serious? But at the same time, it was like, hey, a
It was a life.
life was taken.
Right.
A life was taken. I mean, say when you do something, you got to take your lick. I mean, after being in and pretty much humbling my spirit as far as what had happened, because man, I'm leaving my kids. And
Yeah.
see, stuff like that. Let me tell you something, man. I don't know about nobody else, but we don't have roadmaps and we don't have this manual on being parents. So when I don't know about no other person, but I'm talking about me, see mine, and I'm talking about each and every one of them. I'm talking about my 5 grandkids and my 4 children. Say, I love them. That's me. That's me. You know, and it's just what it is. People say what they do, what they'll do, or what they won't do. But when you backed in the corner, say, I'm Mama Bear. Don't do it. Don't
And
do
that's
it.
and that's what
Don't
I
do it.
when I hear
Don't
this
do it.
when I hear the whole situation or the situation in its entirety, especially hearing your side of it, that's what I get. I mean, everyone knows that you don't back anything into a corner because eventually, if it can't go backwards anymore, it has to come at you. And so, especially, um, I'm. I mean, the show is called No Offense. We don't try to offend anybody. We just try to keep it real here, as real as it was
No.
told to me growing up.
Right
I
on.
was always taught that you don't put your hands on nobody else's kids, man. There's stuff that comes behind that. There's certain things that you do in life that you have to know sets off chains of like chains of reactions. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it's just not going to be the end of it at that point. And putting I was always taught as far as men, you treat the women in your life like you want somebody to treat your mom, daughter, or sister. You know what I'm saying? So and likewise on the other side, like you said, domestic violence can be caused by either gender. And we do understand a lot of times the victim believes that the perpetrator is misunderstood, or it's a one-off occurrence. This is not going to happen again, or okay, this is just the
Exactly.
second time. Okay, this is just the second time, it's never going to happen again. Okay, so now this is the sixth time, and we're getting stitches. And at this
Yeah.
point, everybody around you is aware that something's wrong, because the people who love you, they notice when you're not
But
yourself.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
I'll be lying if I said I had any,
She hit it
knowledge.
well.
I mean that I had a feeling of anything. I didn't. I
Yeah.
didn't, because this boy was even calling me moms. And see, when all that happened, I told him, I say, I heard you beating on my daughter. I said, but I'm not your mama. I'm her mama. That's what
Right.
you need to know. I'm her mama. Now I love, I'm family oriented. You know what I'm saying? But I have low time. I'm with the NBA, the No BS Association. And
Okay.
my house is the house that everybody will come through. I'm a cook. We gonna enjoy ourselves. And like I said, most time they're friends. They're my babies too. You know what I'm saying? And say it's just something though. It really is
Right.
something. And man, I had so many people after the documentary and even Daphne's magazine
Mhm.
um that reached out, and it goes as far. I didn't know it was as bad as military officers, people of that statue going through domestic violence, and everything is just brushed under the rug. You know what I'm saying? So it's deep. It's
Yeah.
deep. It's real deep. But they gave me
I,
a sentence of 15 years. I did 13 and a half. I'm out on parole. I'm wearing a good ankle monitor. I don't know why, but I mean, I guess that's a part of whatever they want to do. But I'll be over it in the next June. I'll be
hey,
through with everything. Yeah.
and we firmly believe that it's gonna be faster. And I think on good behavior they might even cut it a little shorter. So the thing is, um,
Well,
it's
no,
no, it's,
no,
it's gonna write it all to the
no,
end. Okay,
no.
it'll
Let me
be
tell you something. They
Texas gonna write it to
say,
the end, huh?
Man, Texas, they say, come on vacation and
Leave
leave
home.
on probation. And that is the truth. That
Now,
is the God honest truth. And it's so hard out here, Matt. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you listen to these people who say, "Oh, I've taken everything in there from graphic designs to customer service. I mean, I got in all the programs and stuff
Mhm.
and OSHA, everything. And you know, it is so hard to get a job out here because people are not all those most jobs are not second chance friendly. You
Right.
know, so they're asked the question, "Hey, have you ever been to prison?" And I'm like, I'm not gonna lie,
Right.
but if it wasn't for my family, like I said, my children, my sister Bridget, my friends, Mianka, Daphne, Bridget, all just people in general. My grandma, moms, everybody. I'm giving a shout out to everybody who kept it
Yes.
real, and to all the haters too, and then people want to get mad when you come home and you just kind of reclusive because you're really trying to reconnect to society and just stay grounded because your peace of mind is everything. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And you have to stand on it. Say, man, I was even fighting depression. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And they have a little place that I go to
Mhm.
from time to time, APA, and it's for rehabilitation and stuff. And it took my coach, somebody who was paying attention, Miss Regale, hey, Monica, y'all. And it took her to really, the lady was really paying attention. So I know it's still good people out there in the world. Like I said, Daphne, this lady here didn't know me. Her and her husband, Dave, didn't know me from Adam and Eve. And each time I call, say, hey, this is going on, they was on it. They was
Yeah.
on it. So there are good people out there, but you still have to be mindful of the crowds you hang with, and your partners. Be choosy. Stand for something or you're going to fall for any damn thing. Excuse me. Yeah, you're going to fall for anything. But that's where I'm at on that, Matt. Any other questions you want to ask?
Yes, ma'am, Miss Tyra. I I I feel like your situation, it's a very um it's a very unbalanced one. What I mean by that is because it's like the system will treat you as if you did something wrong.
Uh-huh.
And I think you'll find that most people share my our sentiment that if put in the same position, and I don't mean this in a bad way or as if there is no remorse, but what I'm saying is what you did is what most would hope people would do about their young, their own, about the people they love. And a lot of people will easily say, that what they would do in a situation if they were in it hypothetically, but to actually be in that situation at a moment's notice and just to know no matter what's going on in the situation, the end result must be me and my child must be safe. I just want to say I commend you for doing what you had to do, and it is unfortunate that someone did lose their life, but there are decisions and everything. Everybody has a role that they play, and in this particular
Yeah.
situation, I am glad to hear that your daughter is safe, and unfortunately, what happened with you being sentenced. I mean, yes, we understand there's a system and we understand the whole thing about wrongful death, but it's one of these. This I feel like it's a morality case. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily a easy cut and dry. Like this is what should have happened. What we do know is that there shouldn't have been this situation. And maybe if people heed your warning about these domestic violence situations, if they notice the red flags and they actually pay attention to them and decide to make the decisions early on when they first notice them, then hopefully we don't end up in these particular situations. Can I ask you, because I mean I would imagine it would seem surreal. All of this did happen in a moment's notice. I mean, it sounds like this might
Yes.
have been a 3 minute situation, just a fight flight type response. When did it actually set in that
Never,
the reality of the situation?
let me tell you, it took a long time for it to set in. I mean, I was numb for a long time. And it took, I'm telling you, it took like people being real, man, just they was my strength. You know what I'm saying? I had people that was just hanging in there. I had a friend from time to time, she'll get my kids. You know what I'm saying? That's my dog. That's my wop. That's how we talk down there. That that like my sister Bridget, check on me. I said I name people because what people don't understand is this. Emotional and moral support is everything. You know what I'm saying? It's not so much the money. Yeah, all that counts. But you have to have that emotional and leaving my kids now for that long. Say I was broken. I'm still fighting depression. And I say that, man, because you don't realize when stuff like that happen, it just doesn't everybody's a victim.
Yes,
You know what
ma'am.
I'm saying? I mean, I had other kids, all them and my grandbabies. When I say kids and my children, I'm including my grandchildren because them my babies too. What I'm saying is that affected my whole family. That affected my whole world. You had times when people was blaming my child for what I did. And guess what? It could have been any one of them, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It could have been any one of them at that time. It wasn't because, oh, I'm just chewing or this that. Nobody knows what they'll do. You know what I'm saying? And then you see blood coming out of something that you've given birth to. Say, I don't know about nobody else, but I'm sorry our life was taken. But guess what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that no, bar none, bar none. Now my only hopes and my prayers is that they mindful in the partners that they choose now,
Right.
because I can't and I won't be going to
Right.
sit in prison no more for nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm putting out into the universe. And God go before me in everything, because like I said, it's real hard. However, being incarcerated, that caused a division between my children. you know
Yeah.
it my grandbabies were put in foster care behind foolishness. It was just a lot. The devil was playing with me, but guess what, man? I'm here and I'm
Amen.
coming to get everything he took. You heard me?
Amen.
Everything
Amen.
he took, I'm coming to get mine. They can believe that. And I'm telling you, I'm fighting depression. I It's just a lot. Like I said, my niece Sierra, she allowed me into her home, and people are just evil now. Everything, it has changed out
Yes.
here. Everything has changed. You got people want to play with your intellect, and it's like, really? Then they won't
Yeah.
say you crazy. No, you crazy for messing with me because you don't even know. I'm just hypothetically speaking. Nobody's messing with me. I'm just
No, no,
saying.
we understand.
You
We
know,
understand.
so that's another thing, fam, out there, because all y'all my fam, don't judge people because y'all don't know. Sometimes it be the strongest ones you have to listen to, because people need an ear. They don't necessarily need your opinion or something. Sometimes just listen. You don't know what you could have just helped that person to.
Mhm.
Because what's a storm without a story? What's a storm without a story? Everybody has one. So stop judging, because guess what? You can be the next one that's judged. That's where I'm at, man.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
and Miss Tyra, we honestly again I'm sorry to hear that you are battling that depression. I just want to tell you just please continue to take it a day at a time. I know that's easier said than done. But I do want you to know that I as far as when I first heard your story, again, this is no disrespect to the deceased. I'm just saying, oh, what we all are thinking. If it came down to it, I think anyone who has a child would hope that they would take action, not necessarily the action, but still take some kind of action to protect their own. And so, because of that, again, I can't say that you did anything wrong. I would say that just based off of uh people have limited understanding, and a lot of
Right.
ignorant people won't even take the chance to take the time to try to even understand or to see their life through someone else's shoes to before they even begin to judge. But I always say, don't ever take criticism from somebody you wouldn't take advice from. And
Um.
just consider the, you know what I'm saying, just don't ever allow anyone to steal your life. Because one thing I really do believe is God's got something special for your life. He made sure you were in place to do what you needed to do and what you had to do. I'm sure it wasn't an easy thing. Like I said, I can only imagine. You got you life happens so fast. You got this 3 minute situation, and then now all of a sudden there are all of these things that seem like they're out of your control, like such as the case, such as now being sentenced. And I mean, when you're sentenced, you don't really get a say so. You get to plead your case as much as they will allow you to plead your case at that. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, your life is essentially you're told what to do, um, and then not being able to see your family when obviously just you doing what you did shows how much family means to you. I'm sorry that you had to spend all of that time away from your family. What are some of the
Yes,
things
thank you.
that what are some of the things that just as a it's one of those things that we could try to understand, but until I feel like until they're in your circumstance, we'll just never 100% all the way understand. So, as someone who has come through the system and on your behalf, what are some things that you wish that more people were aware of? Just that maybe I know a lot of times we find things out in hindsight. Like, okay, man,
Mhm,
maybe I should have
mhm.
went this way with this, or what are some things that you wish more people were aware of, and that you feel like they should take heed of, that they should know now instead of hearing it on the other side of, once they've come through it. Because, once you learn those lessons, then no one has to teach you again, right? But just essentially to prevent them from having to go through those lessons, what are some things that you might be able to share with us?
Well, one, and I'm talking whenever I give any type of advice or talk to people, I always mention I'm talking to myself too, because
Yes.
even at this age, I'm still teachable, and I'm glad that I'm teachable. Sometimes I over talk because it's so much up here I'm trying to get out.
Yes, ma'am.
So my apologies for that. But just be mindful of the people you surround yourself with. Be mindful of what you take into your spirit. You know what I'm saying? Because you can associate with foolishness and you'll wind up being foolish. You know what I'm saying? That's just like a dog running behind its own tail. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
So and with everything, and again I'm talking to myself because sometimes you think you can just be superwoman or that superman. Be prayerful, you know what I'm saying, and I'm telling you I'm talking to myself because it's really really hard, and doing it by yourself you think you can, but really and truly you can't. You can't. And if you don't mind, Matt, I just want to say I love Tashara Jonte, Dejanay, Dwayne, Tyshell, Dana, Jermaine, McKellen, Messiah. See, all my nieces and nephew. You know what I'm saying? Denzel, I love them all. Ebony, all y'all. My mom, my sister Nicole, everybody. I love y'all. And if I didn't shout out your name, that doesn't mean that you're forgotten. It's just that I don't want to take too much of Matt's time. But just be mindful out there. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to stand on something. And
Yes, ma'am.
and and don't just, you have to write stuff down. Like they
Yes.
say in her Bible. Write it down. Write it
And then you
down.
make it clean. Make it
Record it.
plain.
You know. And again, I'm talking to myself because I have a lot of stuff that's on the back burner and it's gonna take time. But it's like, I guess with me, I just thought, hey, I would be able to do this. And I'm one, if things don't move in my time, I'm upset. And God said, girl, you ain't got no time, it's on me. So I got to give it
Amen.
to him. I got to eventually give it to him. Because talking it and doing it is two different things. So again, it's just, and love yourself. Love
Yes, ma'am.
yourself. Tomorrow is not promised. So any foolishness or anything you holding against anybody, man, let that go. Let it go. Because you're supposed to be enjoying life. And I'm talking to some family members too right now. Let it go. You can't bring back nothing that's happened. You're gonna either go forward or you're gonna stay stuck. And that's what that is, Mike. I mean, Matt, I'm saying Mike, I'm talking to my that's what that is, Matt. I'm sorry about that.
And
Yeah.
no problem. Start. Can I ask you? Because I'm a person. I say I'm spiritual. I'm not necessarily religious. As far as your spirituality, were you always like even before the event? Were you always spiritually connected? Did you find yourself seeking more of a connection after everything happened? Like, because I know when you're there,
I know what you're saying. Most people
yes,
go to
ma'am.
jail and they find religion. Let me tell you something. I just told you. I was raised in the Baptist church, but I
Yes,
went to
ma'am.
Catholic schools. I started like starting to feel myself. You know how you want to be grown and stuff. Start feeling myself when I started entering public schools. However, my grandmother's name was strict because I was raised by my grandmothers, and two strong women. My mom, she's strong too. We have a good connection now. And the thing about it is this, yeah, when you raised that way, and I'm talking about me, I'm doing the I thing. I'm
Hmm.
talking about me. When you raised in a church and that's all you was around and stuff, I had got to the point I was going to church so much with my grandmother. I spoke it. I said, I'm not going to church no more. I'm not doing it. And I'm being funny right now. But in the word, it tells you raise up a child, in the way they should go, and
And
it
you won't
will
depart from it.
always be there. So, I mean, even when I stray, because I'm not about to sit here and act like I didn't stray away from God, but He never left me. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? He never left me. And being confined only reconfirm, hey, I'm here. Tyra, I'm right here. You know, and with that being said, just have that connection because God has a personality. And I don't care
Mhm.
who don't like it. I'm just telling you my experience since you asked, Matt. He has a personality. I laugh at some of the stuff he do. I'll say I don't even want to be bothered because I'm a recluse. I don't deal with everybody, right?
Yeah.
And they'll say, "Oh, she means she that." No, I just have a little tolerance for foolishness, and I know sometimes I can say stuff out of my mouth, and I'm really trying to work on not hurting people's feelings because where they say I'm aggressive, I'm really just assertive, and I say what I say and I mean what I say, and he's working with me on that. But yes, I can say I've always had that connection and kind of ventured off and stuff. But guess what? He still grabbed me back
Mhm.
because even the people in prison, and let me know if I'm talking too much because I can go there now.
No, no. Hey, listen. This is not
Oh,
this.
okay.
This is what the platform is
Okay.
for. Go ahead and speak your mind. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
But what they need to know is this, and the ones in prison too, hey, you lock up your jewelry when you're home. You lock up stuff that is most dear to you, right?
Mhm.
Treasures and stuff like that. Well, I think I know I'm a treasure. So I'm that gem that was locked up, and I'm here to share my journey with whoever needs to hear. And I hope it touched somebody. That's what it's for. We're supposed to. Our test is out for our testimony. So
Amen.
share your testimony. Because see, sometimes I'll be like, look, I don't feel like saying all that or whatever. But at the end of the day, that's what it's for. It's to be put out there. Now I'm not hyping up the crime or anything like that, but it was something I went through, and it's something that I got to let be known. And I hope anybody else who has an experience, tell it. Tell it. And it's therapeutic for yourself. So that's where I'm at with that. Yes, Matt, I've always been connected to God at some point, left and still had to come back to him, you know?
Hey, I
Yeah.
think the Bible says we all fall short. So I understand. Like what I was more so going to ask is, did you ever find yourself because I feel like in life, at least I know at one period of time before I was who I am today, uh when certain things happen, I mean it's let me put it this way. They say it's always easy to praise him when things are going good. But do you ever find yourself at one point in your situation where you find yourself angry, trying to understand exactly what as we're trying to understand what God's plan or purpose is, because one thing I truly believe is he never makes mistakes. Sometimes we don't necessarily have all the puzzle pieces to see it clearly, but I do firmly believe he never makes a mistake as far as, like you said, your story. In order to have an incredible story, you have to actually live that story, in order
Right.
for it to have its impact, you have to actually come through it. So did you ever find yourself at one point angry at God, so to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah.
And uh what did you realize out of that? Because it seems like I feel like we all come to a point where after the anger, it becomes starts the understanding. Was that your case, or
It's
could you tell us
yeah,
a little bit?
somewhat. Yeah, I'll be lying and say I wasn't angry. Hell yeah, I was angry, and I told him that. I told God that because I had to lament. I had to get it out. Because if I didn't, I was gonna eventually just crack up or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And
sir.
yeah, I lament, let him know how I felt, and just ask him to go before me. It was even a time when I was in the county jail in Fort Worth, you know. I found myself, I don't know what he was doing. He was just sending these people to me. And it's like, okay, now, what's up now, Lord? Because I'll be like, look, I don't feel like being bothered. And he'll say, in my spirit, it's like, I'm not worrying about you not wanting to be bothered. Seriously, just like that. And he'll send these people. It could be a younger person. And it was one time, Matt, I was placed in a room with a younger person that was pregnant. Talking about somebody that was pissed off, Matt. My daughter John, yeah, my daughter Jonte was pregnant. But let me tell you something. When you obey, and I'm still talking to myself because you have to encourage yourself. When you obey certain things, he throw out that no. When you obey things that he give you to do, trust me, he makes it work. Let me give you an example. My daughter Jonte was carrying my oldest grandson Jermaine. Lord, I just kept saying I'm not there with my baby. She about to have a baby. I'm just mad on all kind of levels. So yes, I was angry. So picture how I felt like they was playing games with me. A guy was playing these little jokes with me. He put me in a room.
Mm.
He put me in a room with a little girl that was also pregnant and around the age of my child. And I'm like, man, now
Okay,
come on
man.
now, stop this. I'm
Mm.
angry. So I used to pray all the time, fast all the time, And my aunt Sandra, she was one of my prayer warriors. I forgot that. Sandra used to send in prayers for all the girls. Sandra Bailey, yes. And so I'm praying, and my roommate, she walks in and she was like, "You'll teach me that?" And I'm like, "Teach you what?" She was like, how to pray. And I'm saying to myself, "Girl, I don't know how to teach you how to pray." I said, "Just talk to him." This is me. I'm like,
Yeah.
talk to him like I'm talking to him. I say, because that's how what I'm doing. I'm just pouring my heart out. So she looked kind of disturbed, like maybe I was supposed to say something else, but I'm telling you, it just came out. So that night, she was heavy, heavy pregnant. So what I did was she had the little bottom bone. I put her mat down and just, got on my knees and prayed with this baby. And you know what? Like 2 or 3 weeks, about 2.5 weeks later, um, I called home and my daughters was like, "Do you know you have a bond?" And then I called my aunt Sandra, and she was like, "Tyra, you had court today?" I said, "No, I didn't." She said, "Yes, you had court today." So I pressed the button and got the officer on the line. And she was like, "Miss Whitney," she said, "No, you didn't have court, but your bond has been dropped." And I'm in there screaming and hollering because I'm like,
Wow.
"They're serious?" Yes.
God.
So I got out. I'm not gonna go into all that, but I got out, was able to make it home to see my oldest grandson born. That was just the highlights of everything. And then my son, who was like about 7,
Mhm.
Dwayne was 7 years old. He was like, "Mama, I'm behind the glass." He said, "Are you gonna make it for my birthday?" Now, mind you, I don't know
Mm.
if I'm about to make it for this child birthday. I'm in here on a murder charge. And it's like you want to comfort him, but I don't want to lie. I don't make it a habit of
Right.
just telling them anything. But guess what, Matt? This is what I said. I said, yes, I'm gonna make it for your birthday. I don't know what made that come out of my mouth, but guess what, Matt? I made it there for Dwayne's birthday, March 27th,
Look at
and
God.
also to see my grandson born. Yeah, my oldest one.
Man.
Um, I have two, Messiah and Mikhail, that were born while I was in prison,
Mm.
and I can't wait to just hug on all of them. Tyshell, that's mine. Dana Boo, that's my baby too. That's my grandkids. Yeah. So just listen to him. He got little gifts in there he'll throw down for you because he'll sprinkle them and you'll never know where they come from. It could be something that you prayed for years ago, months ago, the day before, or whatever. Yeah, just be continue to talk to him and see what comes out of it. Shit, we
Man.
tried ourselves and it don't work. You know what I'm saying, man? So try
Amen.
this way and see what'll happen. And I'm talking to myself again because I know from experience, so it should be easy, But that's where I'm at. Yeah.
Man. Hey man, anytime and anytime you might get down, remember we're made in his image. You know what I mean? And he is perfect. So
Right.
Miss Tyra, I want to thank you for allowing us this opportunity to talk with you because your story is that one of an amazing one, and we definitely hope much sooner than later that you are reunited with your family. You get a chance to hug all of the ones that you necessarily didn't spend as much time with as you might have wanted to. However, I firmly believe that like I said, God doesn't make any mistakes. I'm sure that time won't be missed with the relationship that you create going forward.
Well,
So
let me tell you. Let me put this in there, Matt. My oldest granddaughter, Tyshell, that's really my baby.
uh,
She did a surprise visit and came and seen me. She stayed down a couple of days, and that was one of the best. They say that was one of the best. And then my oldest daughter, Tashara, she came down. She did a surprise visit,
that's
and Jante, she's always calling. I mean, I just want to touch them. I want to touch the other ones. I want to
it's,
touch them all. I love them all. I want to thank you for having me on, Matt. And yeah, thank you so much.
it was an honor and a privilege, Sarah. Again, the privilege is definitely all mine. Not every day that we get to talk to someone so humble, so willing to share their story, and just that has such a profound message that I really do feel like everyone should take the time to listen to. Again, what you what you experienced, I'm so sorry that it came with the misfortune that it did, but I honestly believe that any parent, would hope that if they were put in the situation that you were in, that they
Mhm.
would act to protect their own. So again, we're any kind of way that anything that we can do going forward. Like I told you before, definitely let me know. Shout out again, Miss Daphne Minks and Bailey
Yes,
and
Stephanie.
David. You guys are amazing.
Yes, David. Yes.
As soon as Miss Daphne
Good people.
mentioned you to
Good,
me,
good
I
people.
knew it was a go. She is an amazing woman. I'm definitely going to speak with her after this one. And always, Miss Tyra, you got my number, you got my email, you got my information. Anything that we can do to help you out, please don't hesitate to ask. You definitely got our
Sure
support
will.
over here at No Offense.
Man, thank you so much. And thank you guys for listening. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a wonderful evening, and we'll definitely
You
talk
too,
to you soon.
man. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. All right, guys. This is gonna do it for the No Offense podcast today with Miss Tyra Huntley Whitney. Guys, again, such a phenomenal, amazing individual. Let this please be a testament to you to never judge a book by its cover. Take the time to get to know any individual. You never know what they might have been going through in their life or what brings them to the meeting point that you guys have. But any opportunity that you have to make a friend or to lighten the load of another is a blessing. Like I always tell you, don't wait on the world to change when you could be the one to change the world. I have been Mr. No Offense. You guys have been absolutely awesome. Please hit the share button on the way out, subscribe to the channel, and we will catch you next time on No Offense Podcast. Take care. No Offense LLC. The LLC stand for business. Yeah. It's no offense, yeah, we going in. Who we got on the show today? Might as well go tag a couple friends. They said you couldn't, now you know you about to blow again. They working hard in case you really need to know again. We're trying to get to know it then. Gain support from those that view and wanna see you win. We got the website, magazine, and radio. Be back up soon. Trying to put you in the spotlight so that you can tell your truth. Yeah, it's no offense to you and me. Ain't trying to sell no image. I want you to come on through and live your life the way you live it. What you say you on your way, shine so bright they gotta see you. Pave your way and go be great. Make a say now, I believe it. us. Hey, it's no offense. Yeah, we going in. Who we got on the show today? Might as well go tag a couple friends. They said you couldn't, now you know you about to blow again. They working hard in case you really need to know again. Hey, it's no offense. Yeah, it's no offense. Yeah, it's no offense. Yeah, it's no offense. They said you couldn't, now you know you about to blow again. They working hard in case you really need to know again. Hey, it's no offense. Man, y'all hit that share button, man. Tap in. Special thank you to the guest of the show,